What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video at JDH Aquatics, where we do anything aquariums related. Today we are going to be re-aquascaping the 20 gallon. I absolutely cannot stand how this thing looks. It's just a bunch of random frags with a very minimalistic aquascape in the worst way possible. And we've got some extra rocks, so we're gonna try to re-aquascape it and make it look a little bit better. There's not really a theme to this tank. We've got the mangroves up there on the left side with probably 20 different little random frags in there. And since there's no theme, it makes it really hard to aim towards, a certain look with the aquascape. But we've got that extra rock, so we're gonna try to go in there and just create something new. All right, we've got our extra rock down here with a towel set. Let's go ahead and take some pieces out and see what we're working with. So I've got about an extra 10 pounds of rock here, and these top two are pretty good. This bottom left one could be used as a base rock since it's not that attractive, and then this fourth one we could use for some sort of arch if we need to. But those top two, we're gonna try to put them in here somehow, and I think we're gonna try to get some height either in the middle or the left side of this tank. My first thought is to take out this little middle rock right here, and I'm gonna add in one of those bigger pieces, and then on top of the piece that's gonna sit here and this guy, I'm gonna place one on top as well. So it's gonna be kind of sloping down from the left, down from the mangrove side, which I think will look the best. And we want as little as possible over here, because that's kind of where the power head is, and more of the flow is gonna be on this left side anyways. So we're gonna try to place most of it on the left side, sloping down to the right, and adding in, I think, probably 2 pieces of rock, maybe about 7 pounds. We skipped a couple of steps. I really needed to focus on what I was going for here. So I filmed as much as I could, but this is the new aquascape for the 20 gallon, at least for now until we move into the new apartment and we're able to place some of these corals in other tanks and either focus this tank on the mangroves or make it a full-blown frag aquarium, in which case we'll probably take out most of the rock and just add in frag racks. But since we have the mangroves in here, I wanted it to look nice for the next few months. So this is the scape that we're gonna go for right now. I wanted something that was gonna slope down to the right side, which we do have away from the mangroves. And I wanted it to be a little bit taller, so closer to that water line. Up above here, it looks pretty good. We may need to turn down the intensity on the LEDs because these softies are pretty close to that water line. Now, there are no fish in this tank, but we do have a few passes in the rocks. So down below there's like a nice 6-inch gap that there's some space between the rock and the sand, and then we've got about a 2 or 3 inch hole right in between there, which is also a nice little spot. If we do add fish, which we probably won't in the next few months, but I don't know, the scape's growing on me. I didn't like it at first, probably like 20 minutes ago, but it's starting to grow on me a little bit more as the tank clears up, so we'll see. I do like the idea of having a taller aquascape. I think it fills out the aquarium a lot more than, that more minimalistic look that we have going on in the 38 gallon. So when we set this tank up again, if it'll focus, once we set this tank up again and possibly add that black background, I think we're gonna try to go for a taller aquascape and utilize the tall space in this aquarium. The sole purpose of changing up the aquascape was just for aesthetic purposes. The flow in the tank and everything else seemed to be fine beforehand, so that's what we'll look for in the next few days, just seeing how things circulate around the rock. We didn't change up too much other than adding a little bit more height to it, but in terms of like the floor of it, the base of it, it's pretty much the same. For the next scape and where we put the mangroves, whether it's in the 20 gallon or over here in the 38 gallon or in the Innovative Marine 30 gallon long, I think we're gonna try to put those mangroves towards the center, at least as much as possible, and not towards the back or one of the sides of the tanks like we have here in the 20 gallon. I want them to be as much of the centerpiece as possible, as well as building that aquascape off of the mangrove. So trying to make like kind of a pyramid away from them, or a mountain slide away from them, something like we have here going. But in the 38 gallon, if we do put them in there, we need to make some sort of mound or a big island to put those pods on. A tip for aquascaping, if you guys are struggling, which I'm not a pro at aquascaping at all, I think probably 9 times out of 10 what I come up with is not good, including this one. But what helped me fit the pieces together, so to speak, is I looked at what would literally fit together. So for instance, this rock here in the center, those two pieces fit together quite well, so that's why I laid that one down. And then coming over here, it rested and sat onto that ledge there nicely, and it made this little gap between. So I thought that was nice, and that's kind of what I went with and built off of. And same with this piece, it fit on top nicely, and it made a little gap in between, so I thought that worked well. And that's kind of how I go and base my aquascapes off of, is what fits well together and what's going to be the most sturdy, because eventually the coral is going to grow over the rock and in between it and fuse them together and whatnot. So you want the coral to be, the showpiece and not the aquascape. But I do understand wanting to have a good foundation before you even place the coral there, but don't stress on it too much. I think for us it was important to just add more rock into the aquarium. We only had probably 15 pounds of rock in there before excuse me, we added in an additional probably 7 or 8 pounds of rock. And just adding that extra height, I think it makes it look a little bit more substantial, fills out the tank more, and that's what we were going for. I know it was kind of a short video, but it was definitely something that we needed to get done. If you guys have any questions, then please leave it in the comments down below, or you guys can DM me on my Instagram. My Instagram and social links are in the description below as well. But with all that being said, I will be sure to catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.